Now, you might not want more power from going into politics or trying to run a multinational company, but I can't imagine there's a single one of us that wouldn't want more power when it's in the context of bike riding. It is a word that gets bandied around an awful lot though. So to put it simply, power is the energy coming from your legs into the bike over a certain amount of time. To get more of it, you either put more force through the pedals, or you turn the pedals faster, or you do both at the same time. Now, it sounds simple, and it is, but unfortunately, to get more power, you generally need to do a little bit of work. But I'm going to do my best to make this as easy as possible. Now, first things first, before we start any kind of hard work, let's expand on that whole pedalling speed thing, shall we? Because you might find that if you mess around with how quickly you pedal, you may well be able to put more power out without getting fitter at all. Although, it's got to be said, contrary to popular belief, there are no ideal cadences, only the ones that are right for you and your specific individual physiology. But, having said that, there is a definite trend that shows that at higher power outputs, people tend to use faster cadences. So why not give it a go? Next time you are labouring up a climb, why not knock it into an easier gear, increase your pedalling speed whilst maintaining the same velocity on the road. And then certainly when sprinting, you want to keep your feet nice and fast. Well, that first one was nice and easy, potentially free power. Now though, we've got to do a little bit of work, because as any self-respecting self-help book would tell you, true power comes from within. And so to improve, we've basically just got to do some training, unfortunately. Now, how you train is really, really important. Certainly consistency over time is one of the keys, but then so too is variation. So if, for example, you spend all day every day riding your bike really slowly, that's great, but you only get good at riding really slowly. So to get more power then, we need to go hard. And these next 3 session ideas make you do just that, but they are cracking good fun, and they're also tried and tested. Drop them into your training every now and then, and I think you'll see the benefits. Now, I'm going to apologise in advance. This first one is definitely hard. It's called the 40-20 because you do 40 seconds hard and then 20 seconds easy. You then repeat it 10 times over before having a little bit of rest and doing the whole thing again. And I probably don't need to tell you this if you are a pro, but you should be looking at doing 3 sets. Now, the hard bit should be not a flat out sprint, as you can see, but harder than you could sustain for very long. And if you are lucky enough to have a power meter, you are searching for about 120% of your FTP. A hill, a long climb is ideal, but otherwise a really quiet flat road, or it's tailor-made for an indoor trainer. No interruptions. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. 1 minute maxes really hurt. They are pleasingly simple though. All you've got to do is ride as hard as you possibly can for 1 minute and then recover. Give yourself about 5 minutes off because you will be hurting, and then repeat them about 6 times. At least that's all I've ever been able to manage. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Now lastly, this one's a little bit less intense, but still really potent. So overgeared strength intervals are going to help us to produce more force. And as we've already heard, that is half of our power equation. And the way it's going to do that is firstly by helping to make more of the muscle that we've already got, so improving our neuromuscular function, but then over time, hopefully, it's going to help to build new muscle mass as well. Now, there's various different types you can do. Standing start efforts are really effective, but we're going to focus on something a little bit longer here. So 5 minutes on a climb, pedaling at between 50 and 60 RPM. And we're looking for an intensity, as you can hear, that's got me working hard, but not absolutely gasping. So again, if you've got a power meter, you're looking at about 90% of FTP. And we want to do 4 to 5 of these intervals over the course of a ride, and in between time, we'll keep our gears nice and light. Now, those 3 sessions can and probably will work wonders for you if you do them from time to time. But depending on whether you want to be able to put more power out on climbs or on flat roads, or as I suspect most of us do, on both, you need to think carefully about where you're doing that hard work. Because although the muscles that we're using on climbs or on flat roads are the same, we use them in subtly different ways. So that's why some really skinny, lightweight guys can time trial well, but not actually be able to climb. So, if you want to go fast up hills, then you need to ride up hills or ride on your indoor trainer with the resistance cracked up. And then if you want to go fast on the flat, then I suggest you do the majority of your intervals fast on the flat. Or if you want to do both, then just mix it up. So maybe do your 40-20s on climbs, do your 1 minute maxes on the flat, and then go back to the hills for your strengthies. Right then, well, don't tell your Prime Minister or your President, but the secret of power clearly then comes from your cadence, some hard, intense work, and also making it specific. Although before leaving this video, there's one last point I've got to touch on, and that is that when cycling, power is always traded off against weight, so your body weight effectively. If you've got weight to lose, then you will find that if you shed a couple of kilos, you are going to end up riding your bike faster, even if you're not putting any more power out. Right, I reckon I've got a couple of videos already on the channel that may well be relevant for you. Before clicking on either of them though, do make sure you subscribe to the channel. That means that you'll always know when there's more GCN content up. But then, why not click just down there for how to become a stronger cyclist? That is quite an interesting one. And then if you click just down there, we've got how to climb like a pro. Now, if you excuse me, I've got one last 1 minute max to do. Wish me luck.